Hey everybody, welcome to History 132 online for the spring. As you may have seen from the welcome video, which had a delightful thumbnail, I thought. I'm Amanda Zakanis. I'm your instructor for this semester for this course. Very excited to be teaching this online again and looking forward to some great discussions. So this video will go over the syllabus, the major parts of the syllabus and things that are important for you to know. Also, under the Welcome to History 132 tab, you will find a Blackboard tour video that you have either watched already or are planning to watch directly after this, right? That will tell you where everything is on Blackboard, and it also goes through our reading schedule for the entire semester and where everything is located, where to find that, for example. That's going to be in the Welcome tab as well. It's called the Reading Breakdown. Please make sure that you find that and use it. So this is History 132 online, section I01. The final day to drop this course without a grade penalty is March 26th, which is late. JCC kind of has a late drop date, which works really well for a lot of people. That means that after March 26th, you will get a WF if you are dropped or drop yourself from the course. Before that day, if you drop yourself, you get a WD. If I have to drop you due to lack of attendance, you get a WF regardless. So please keep an eye on that date, and if you miss more than 2 weeks, you can contact me and say, look, I want to drop myself to avoid that WF, and you can totally do that. Information about me. My office is in the STEAM building in room 124. My office phone number is 919-464-2460. I have office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and on Wednesdays from 2 to 3 p.m. Email is the best way to reach me. I check my email a lot. I check it at least once early in the morning and once early in the evening, even on the weekends and break and all that stuff. So I have 2 small children though, so if you email me late at night, I won't see it until the next morning because they don't understand how wonderful it is to sleep past 6 a.m. So I tend to go to bed kind of early because they wake up pretty early. So email is a great way to get in touch with me if you want to schedule an in-person meeting or just ask a question. All right, so we are going from roughly the Civil War era. So we'll be picking up right when the Civil War is getting ready to end. It's ending and we get Reconstruction. We're going all the way to about 2008. That is about as far as I can get currently. We are talking about all kinds of stuff: industrialization, immigration, the Great Depression, major American wars, the Cold War, social conflict, all that kind of stuff. It's 100% online, this course. Everything is very meticulously organized. I'm a bit of a nerd in that regard. Everything under the assignments tab, as you've seen, if you went through the Blackboard tour video or if you've gone through the Blackboard shell yourself. Under the assignments tab, every single week is laid out with all the dates, and inside each week's folder is the content for that week. So it is very easy to find everything that you need. And again, that reading breakdown document will support the Blackboard shell in telling you specific page numbers for the things that you'll need to read that week. It also has reminders of due dates for major assignments. And of course, if you have any questions, just ask. Student learning outcomes, you will learn things. And there are lots of things you will learn. I'm not going to read all of these because you can read, but I will hit some of the major ones. You will write argument-driven, evidence-based essays, analyzing significant historical developments, and you're going to use MLA formatting for in-text citations and works cited pages. You can use Chicago if you want. That is the history discipline writing style, but I cannot require it. So we officially use MLA. If you want to explore Chicago, which is footnotes and pretty great, you can let me know, and I can give you information on that if you want to check it out. But otherwise, MLA is our default. We're going to read, think, and write historically using primary source documents. Practice critical thinking, so questioning things that we're told, not just accepting everything that we hear or are told as fact. Very important life skill. We're going to utilize the 3 C's: change, continuity, and contingency. Change, of course, things are different. Continuity, things stay the same. And change, continuity, contingency is the one that is my favorite. Contingency is when things could have gone one way and went a totally different way. It's a moment of unpredictability in history, and there are a lot of those. And decisions of individuals, just like you, shaped that history and those moments of contingency. So we're going to talk about some of those. And let's see, all kinds of other stuff. We are going to understand some of the economic, political, environmental, and cultural causes that together transformed life in North America. Witness the creation of a modern activist state and the expansion of state power across the continent and abroad. Consider questions of race, class, gender, sexuality, region, ethnicity, and culture to evaluate the continuing struggles for equality and access in America. There are books. There are two books. One is a textbook and one is a document reader. The textbook is Eric Foner's Give Me Liberty in American History. It's volume 2, 5th edition. It is large and it is blue mostly. And the ISBN is right there for you. So that's the textbook. That is a secondary source. It's written by Eric Foner, an American history scholar, using historical evidence. So he wrote that himself. Voices of Freedom, a Documentary History, Volume 2, 5th edition, along with the ISBN there. That is your primary document reader. So primary documents are first-hand accounts, things written by people who actually lived through them. We are going to read things by Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Booker T. Washington, John F. Kennedy, all kinds of everybody, like lots and lots of people. It's going to be pretty cool. So those things written by people who lived through those events, written at the time, that's primary document. We do not have e-text for this course. So how do we explain the rise of a modern American nation? Well, a lot of things happened, and it's going to take an entire semester to get through it. And the things that happened were neither inevitable nor welcomed by all Americans. By paying attention to the voices of contemporaries, we will try to answer a series of perplexing questions in American history, including what does freedom mean, who is an American, and what is the proper relationship between individuals and the government. We are going to examine struggles over the meaning of citizenship, the expanding power of government in American economy and daily life, changing relations of the individual with the community, and the complications of national and international expansion. The course begins in the aftermath of the Civil War and ends in the days of globalization, each marking the end of an era and the beginning of another. Evaluation. You're like, yeah, I don't care. How am I going to get graded? Well, I'll tell you. 20% of your grade is going to be participation. This is an online course, so we will participate with discussion boards. These are like mini papers every single week that you do not have a major assignment due. So any week that there is not a paper or an exam due, you will have a discussion board due. These count as both attendance and participation. So you have to complete a discussion board and comment on 2 other students' posts. They're like mini papers. There's a discussion board FAQ handout under the Welcome to History 132 tab, which if you watched the Blackboard tour video first, you saw it already. And that shows you the things you need to focus on in the order of importance. So most important is first. And so read that. And then if you have any questions, let me know. But you need to make sure those are due on Friday nights by 11:59 p.m. So make sure that your post and your comments are in by that time so you can be counted present and get credit for that participation. 40% of your grade is exams. You have 3 exams, multiple choice, true, false, and identification. Identification is like a short answer. You'll be given 4 terms. You'll pick 2, and you'll write in paragraph form the who, what, when, where, and so what for those 2 terms. And you will get feedback on those also. So don't think I'll just slap a grade on it. You won't know. But your exams are week 5, week 10, and week 18. You cannot use notes or readings on these exams. And the tests make up a total of 40% of your grade. So exam 1 is worth 10%, and exams 2 and 3 are each worth 15%. That's on purpose. Some of you may have never taken a history test before or taken a test with me before and you don't know what the style is. Some of you may have never heard of an identification question, and that's okay. So the first test counts less, so you can kind of find out what it's all about. You can learn best how to prepare for it, kind of get a little bit more comfortable with it, and then by the time exam 2 rolls around, that one counts for more and you are ready. So some of you, several of you, most of you will be totally ready and rock on that first exam. That's awesome. But for those of you who maybe get test anxiety or worry about something unfamiliar, it counts as less so that if you do poorly on it or don't do as well as you like, you have room to recover your grade. The other 40% of your grade is papers. You will write 2 papers in this class, and they are based on course readings. They are not research papers. Each paper is worth 20%. and that's a lot, I know. They're due on weeks 7 and 15, and they're submitted on Blackboard, obviously, because it's an online class. You will get detailed feedback on both papers. So they count for a lot, but you're also going to get a lot of feedback, and the goal is that you are better writers when you leave here than when you got here. And this is one of the ways to hopefully help do that. I do have a late work policy. Discussion boards determine attendance and participation. I will not accept a late discussion board without a documented excuse. That's a doctor's note, a death in the family, maybe your kid had to go to urgent care or something like that. If there's documentation for it and it was an emergency situation or something unexpected such as that, like an illness, like a grave illness or something, you can absolutely contact me and get me a copy of the documentation. I don't need like detailed medical information, just proof that you were at this medical facility at this date, and I'll give you an extension on those. Otherwise, late discussion boards are not accepted, and you are also considered absent. Papers must be turned in on time. Late papers will lose 3 points per day of the week, not class day. That includes weekends and everything. So they lose 3 points per day that they are late. I do not accept late work after 2 weeks. It will not be accepted. Especially, like, think of a paper. By then it's lost, like, a ton of points by then. And so it's, yeah, 2 weeks. And especially with that last paper that's due week 15, by then it's, like, way too close to the end of the semester. So tests can be made up with a documented excuse as well. But late tests are not accepted otherwise. They will close after the due date, and you will not be able to access it unless you have a documented excuse and can make it up. Writing requirements, like I said, we'll be writing papers in here. You have to cite everything to the original source. There is a how to cite sources under the first week, so check that video out. It will explain. You need to cite sources in discussion boards, in the identification section of exams, and in papers. So do all of that. There's a citation builder here that links to NC State's website, our library website. We have a citation builder as well. We're on a 10-point scale. The grade center is where everything is. You have instructions telling you exactly what expectations are for every assignment. The primary focus is going to be the quality of the content. Did you answer the question? Did you support your answer with the correct evidence from class readings? So formatting and mechanics are also important, but they do play a smaller role. And each assignment has its own specific directions. If you have any questions about instructions or an assignment, please feel free to contact me. I will make every effort I can to return tests and papers within 2 weeks. I usually do it in less time, but I like to say 2 weeks because it gives me a little bit of a buffer. Discussion boards will get turned in within 1 week. I like to have those back to you before the next one is due, so you turn them in on a Friday night. I try to have them back no later than Thursday. Sometimes it's Wednesday. Sometimes that works for me. That's what I really try to do, but sometimes it's Thursday. So that way you can use the feedback, because you will get detailed comments and feedback in the feedback to learner section on Blackboard in my grades for each discussion board for the first half of the semester. You will automatically get that feedback. And so you can use that feedback to strengthen the following week's discussion board. And feedback on those will pare down, though, as the semester continues. Once we get past spring break, feedback is available upon request, but at that point we've been through half the semester, and either you've taken the feedback and used it and have improved, or you have ignored it every week. So either way, it stops unless you ask for it. I will comment directly on papers. I will comment on the exam identification sections, and so you'll be able to get all of that information and feedback to continue to be successful and to do better on future assignments and to improve in the course as you go. Things that you'll need to know. Check your email. I just told you how often I check my email, so check your email too. That's the way I'm going to communicate with you. Announcements go out as email. So they get sent out usually on like Monday. I'll be like, hey, it's week whatever, this is what we're doing. Be sure to submit your discussion board by 11:59 p.m. on Friday. And then Friday rolls around and you'll see, hey, remember, your thing's due. So stuff like that. So you will get regular communication from me. And also, if like Blackboard loses your test or I can't read your paper because it's not in the correct format, I'm going to email you and ask you, hey, do you want to do something about this? And if you don't check your email, you can't do anything about it. So then you have a 0 or something for like 20% of your grade, and woo, that is not fun. So please, please, please check your email. We're going to move really quickly. We're going to start around 1865 and we're going to go to 2008. So we're going through a lot of history and a lot of details in the course of about 17 weeks. So you're going to need to be sure that you expect to spend at least a few hours outside of class each week working on readings and doing assignments and that kind of stuff. Let's see, I provide lecture outlines. So I have some students who like to download the lecture outline, add extra spaces between the terms and things, and fill it out as they watch a lecture. So the lecture notes, so the script that I use to lecture from, is also available on Blackboard for you to use. So I also have students who will print those out and highlight things as they listen to the lecture. So whatever tools you want to use to help you digest the material and be better prepared for exams and papers and discussion boards, those things are there for you to use. Participation is a big factor in the success of the class, so please make sure that you are having regular discussions, you're participating in discussion. And disagreement is an important part of intellectual discussion, and arguing out issues is critical to a college education. Therefore, you should expect to disagree with the ideas and opinions of others, especially in your discussion sections. Please always disagree in a respectful manner. Treat others as you would like to be treated, and use respectful language to refer to groups, individuals, and fellow students. So make sure that you are agreeing or disagreeing based on evidence, and that you are doing so in a respectful manner, because we are going to be talking about gender and race and all kinds of things that are very hot topics, right? And the closer we get to the present in the course, I'm sure the more lively discussion can become. As long as we are being respectful and we are using evidence to back up our claims, we are okay. In fact, some of the best conversations happen from disagreement. So just make sure you are following those guidelines. Plagiarism is not tolerated in this class. You will receive a 0 and be reported. So if you have any questions, there's a is this plagiarism handout on Blackboard that kind of walks through some examples. You can check that out. If you have any questions, though, let me know. So email is a great way to get in touch with me, like I said. If you want to come by for office hours or make an appointment to see me, that's also fine. If you live a little farther away and would like to do a video meeting like Zoom or Skype, we can set that up as well. So I am here, I am accessible. If you need to talk to me in any form or fashion, the best first step is to send me an email and we will set up whatever we need to do to have a conversation. Attendance. You can miss 2 weeks, and that is it. The census date for our class is January 17th. You need to make sure that you have taken the enrollment verification quiz by that date, or you will be dropped from the course. So remember, I said that discussion boards count as attendance. Anything you're turning in for that week, there's something due every single week, and that is determining your attendance and whatever other category it goes under. So let's say it's week 5 and you don't take the exam, and then week 6 rolls around and you don't do the discussion board. Well, you've already missed 2 weeks of the class. So it's not even halfway point, you've used all your absences. So keep an eye on that, because once you reach 3 weeks absent, I will drop you from the course. And like I said, you will get a WF if I drop you. If you drop yourself, so let's say you miss 3 weeks and you're like, man, I know she's going to drop me, I need to email her. Email me and say, hey, let's just drop me. I'm going to drop myself and it's going to be fine. You'll get a WD. It'll be all good. So, let's see. Religious and solemn observance. We have a form for that. If you need to miss class due to a religious or solemn observance, you need to get the form to me at least 2 weeks prior to the date that you will miss class. There will not be a penalty for missing class. You'll be able to make up all work, all that good stuff. So get me that form if you need to get me that form. We have a faculty first policy here at JCC. If there is an issue, the thing to do is to come to me first with it. Now, we are communicating via printed word. We are not communicating face-to-face, so there might be, I have a dry sense of humor and can be a bit sarcastic, so there might be a misunderstanding or a miscommunication. If that happens, if I say something that upsets you, please let me know, and I am more than happy to apologize when I'm in the wrong or explain a situation if that is needed. Just like if we have a discussion and a student is rude to someone else or says something inappropriate, I will contact that student and have a conversation about, you know, how it came off, what happened, all that kind of stuff, and resolve the issue. So that's a two-way street. So if there is a problem, please let me know and we can resolve it. If the situation is unresolved and you need to talk to someone else, you can talk to my department chair, which is Lance Gooden, and there's a whole chart here on people to contact. Hopefully this chart will be unnecessary, and everything will be great because we are all scholars here and we're going to have a great semester. So that's the syllabus. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to send me an email, and I'm excited for our semester together.